Let's go. Just sit back and enjoy you.
The ball carrier tackled behind the line.
Come on, D. Come on, D.
Hey, come on, D.
What's up, man?
Game 3 brings it to second and 7.
Let's go, D. Let's go. Do your job. Do your job.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today to Double T Insider. I'm your host, Taylor Peters. As Texas Tech women's tennis is making an undefeated conference run to the Big 12 title, sophomore Felicity Maltby is making waves. In her freshman season last year, playing in the 6th spot, she defeated 33 opponents, the most on the team. Well, she's worked her way up the ladder and is now playing at the 2 spot this year behind senior Gabriela Talaba, and says she's playing the best tennis of her life.
Tech was really the only place I really visited, and I kind of just felt like the community and like Todd and Rick and like the team was really close, and we just all felt like a family, so it felt like home. The coach, Todd, really cares about your future. He works with you individually, and if you want to go pro, if that's a goal for you, he's going to help you get there. Off the court, he's like a father, basically. He takes us all to his house for dinners, and his family, like we're all close with his kids and his wife, so it really is like a second family. Having the same exact team really brought us together, I think, even more, and we know everything about each other. We know how to help each other out when they're struggling, and I think that's played a big role in our success this year too. Losing to Oklahoma State in the finals of the Big 12s last year was pretty devastating for all of us. And having them here at our home courts was an advantage this year, and we tried to remain calm throughout the match. We all wanted to win this match more than anything, I think. And so having Alex hit that backhand winner down the line and all of us storming the court was one of the most exciting moments.
Still to come on Double T Insider, we're finding the fairway with Federico. Don't Sweat the Tech is next.
Double T Insider is brought to you in part by Plains Capital Bank. Bank with confidence. The Red Raider Club. Your support, their effort, our fearless champions. Texas Farm Bureau. Register today for your chance to deliver the game ball and receive a VIP experience at a Texas Tech home football game. Contest details available at texastech.com. Texas Ford Dealers. Visit your Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. And UMC. It's our hospital.
Good morning everybody, I'm Federico ZUCCHETTI from Texas Tech Men's Golf, and we're here today with Don't Sweat It technique, and I'm going to show you how to hit more fairways. We're here today with a TrackMan as well. It's a radar that tracks the ball, so you can see the club speed, ball speed, and then the carry distance as well with every iron. So many courses have dog legs left and right and left that you need to be able to shape the ball. For instance, this week at the Masters, we all know it's a course where if you hit draws, it gives you an advantage because you can cut some corners. So I'm going to show you how to hit a draw. The first thing, I change a little bit in the setup. I tend to put the ball more in the middle of my stance so that the face in the downswing comes a little bit more open at impact. That helps you start the ball right on the target, and then because you're hitting the ball earlier in the arc, earlier in the swing, you're gonna have a club path in to out, which creates a ball flight right to left. So I'm going to show you now how to hit a draw. So ball more in the middle of the stance, same width. Still, you need to be very stable with your lower body, and you're gonna aim a little bit right and then swing the same. So now the next shot I'm going to show you is a fade. A fade is a shot that curves left to right, a slice. And again, the first thing that I change is the setup. So I put the ball more forward in my stance so that it's the opposite as the draw. So the face comes a little bit more short. So it helps the ball start left of the target, and then because you're hitting it later in the arc, you're gonna be able to shape the ball left to right, and very stable with the lower body, and then just the same swing. So some misconceptions that amateurs may have is that you need to hit it really hard to hit it far. That's not true. You need to be stable with your lower body and have a good turn, and really go out and try have fun and enjoy it. You know, it's spring, the weather is great, so really just go out, have fun, and the score is gonna take care of itself. This is it for today. I'm Federico ZUCCHETTI from Texas Tech Men's Golf for Don't Sweat It technique. I'll see you next time.
Stay tuned as you'll find out that what makes Lady Raider basketball's Rasay Caldwell so tough to beat on the court also keeps her at the top of her game in the classroom.
Growing up, my dad was always really strict on my grades. I wasn't allowed to have B's. I've always been like a straight A student my whole life, and that has continued into college. He checks on my grades a lot, so I can't really slack on anything. Even when he wasn't my coach, I would have to send him my weekly grades. So he's always been that way, and I'm very appreciative of it because it's helped me stay on track.
I think it's really beneficial to have been a student athlete at Texas Tech in the Big 12, just to help guide myself and guiding them as far as making decisions and the stresses of what it's like to be a student athlete.
Well, I went into business just thinking I would always need it for what I wanted to do in life. I would like to own a restaurant one day, and I figured a management part of it would really help me out. I really don't know what kind of restaurant I would like to own. When I was younger, I wanted to have like all my favorite foods into one, but I really haven't put my finger on it yet.
I think Rasay is someone who's very, very driven, intrinsically motivated. So there's not much we have to do to help Rasay understand how important her academics are. That's who her parents have raised her to be, and how she lives her life every single day. I think she's someone who has her priorities straight. Mercedes a thinker. You know, she's someone who's going to analyze things. She needs to know, you know, she needs to understand why she's doing what she's doing. It has to make sense to her. You can tell she's very detail-oriented, and I think that shows in her classroom.
I would relate academics to succeeding in basketball just because, in my opinion, they just go so much together, from time management to being dedicated on and off the floor. So you're dedicated to your jump shot, you have to be dedicated to studying. I just think they go hand in hand, and basketball teaches you a lot of life lessons.
Coming up, women's tennis clinched a share of the Big 12 title. Robert Giovannetti and Coach Todd Petty talk what this third conference title means next.
Welcome back to the Double T Insider and this week's Walk and Talk. I'm Robert Giovannetti with Texas Tech women's tennis coach Todd Petty. And Coach, you getting tired of hoisting those trophies? Your third Big 12 championship in the last 6 years. You guys clinched it Sunday against West Virginia. How did that feel?
Oh, it felt great. You know, just to see the faces of the girls and the achievement, and they've played for this for a couple years, to see them get over that hump and, you know, get to raise that trophy for the first time with this group is something special.
Yeah, I mean, for them, for this group, it's the first time for you, the third time now. But does it feel different every time? Every group feels a little bit different?
Yeah, every time's different. It's a whole different set of circumstances, another journey. And for this group, it was their first one. So to see it for the first time with their faces is, you know, it never gets old. You know, I mean, it's a fun group to watch, and they've gone through this so many times, and so they're a pretty special group.
You know, you had the two big matches last weekend to clinch the share. The previous week here at home, you really had the big match against Oklahoma State, which really kind of set the path.
Right, yeah, that was the big weekend. Oklahoma State being the favorite to win the conference this year, making the NCAA finals last year. You know, to get them on our home courts and to win in the fashion we did really kind of opened the door for this past weekend to be the big weekend. And so, you know, that was a obstacle. We had lost to Oklahoma State twice the year before, and so to get over that hump and get them on our courts, it felt good. And the girls really were professional in the next weekend, and so we've kind of control our own destiny at this point.
Were you worried at all going into last weekend that, hey, they might let off the gas a little bit? Because that turned out not to be the case at all.
Right, yeah, you always wonder if it's kind of a trap weekend just because you've had to get up such an emotional high against Oklahoma State and OU to come and play the two teams that are at the bottom of the conference, and I thought the girls really handled it, and it's, you know, the experience they've had, the maturity this group has to look at it just as an opportunity to get better with a whole new set of circumstances, and they really learned from the weekend, which is really neat to see. Now you get a chance to clinch it solo against TCU next weekend. How important is that to you guys to say, hey, we don't want to share it with anybody else? Well, I think, you know, it's obviously you don't want to share it with anybody else, but I think more importantly, TCU's a top 25 opponent. It's really about to be tournament time. You really want to try to improve your seeding, improve your spot in the NCAA tournament and the Big 12 tournament. And it's a really good chance to play a really good TCU team on their courts in a very hostile environment. That's something we need to get back and see. And we've been at home for a while, so we're getting a little bit, I guess, fat on our own earnings a little bit. So it's nice to go get there and get in a hostile environment. Our girls seem to perform well in that, so we're excited about the opportunity. Speaking of that, you got to go to the Big 12 tournament, but then you come back here to host at the McLeod Tennis Center. Hope so. Hope so. Yeah. Knock on wood somewhere. But when you start, do you look ahead at all of that, or you just say, hey, we're just going to focus on finishing out here in the Big 12? You know, obviously we set up goals, and our goals first and foremost to win a Big 12 tournament, Big 12 championship, win the Big 12 tournament, and then host. You want those first two rounds to be on your courts. And the last 2 years we've been able to advance to the Sweet 16, but we've been the 16th seed, which means you draw the 1 seed in the round of 16. And so obviously our goal was to improve that standing, so hopefully we weren't drawing the #1 team in that third round. And so I think we've done a good job of putting ourselves in position to host and not draw the 1 seed in that round of 16 if we're fortunate enough to advance that far. A lot of excitement around Texas Tech women's tennis. 3 championships in the last 6 years under this guy. This has been a Walk and Talk with Todd Petty.
Physics and engineering come together to make every play better for Texas Tech softball in this week's Pride by Design.
Welcome back to Pride by Design. I'm Dr. Michelle Pantoya, and we're here at the Texas Tech University softball facility to talk about the engineering behind a softball bat. In recent years, engineers have made considerable contributions in quantifying and understanding ball and bat performance. Bat performance is a joint property of the bat and the ball. The ball primarily affects bat performance in 2 ways. elasticity, and stiffness. Most power hitters aim for a more stiff bat. To compare the performance of different bats, they must be evaluated on a common scale. One performance scale is to consider the speed of the ball coming off the bat. The speed of a hit ball in play depends on the pitch speed and the bat speed. So, the speed of a hit ball is a function of the pitch speed, the collision efficiency, and the bat speed. In the 1970s, aluminum bats were introduced as a cost-effective alternative to using wood bats. But engineers quickly realized that these hollow bats have a trampoline effect that allows the ball to be hit farther than a wood bat. The barrel here stores more energy during impact and returns that energy to the ball, allowing it to soar farther. So, what started out as a cost-effective measure became a performance benefit too. I'm Dr. Michelle Pantoya, and thank you for joining us all season to learn about the engineering behind your favorite Texas Tech teams.
Pitch. Deep drive to left field. Forget about it. Adios, muchacho, for the third time this weekend for Orlando Garcia. It's 7-1 Tech.
Coming up next on Double T Insider, we're catching you up on all things happening this week in Texas Tech athletics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Double T Insider was brought to you in part by Plains Capital Bank. Bank with confidence. The Red Raider Club. Your support, their effort, our fearless champions. Texas Farm Bureau. Register today for your chance to deliver the game ball and receive a VIP experience at a Texas Tech home football game. Contest details available at texastech.com. Texas Ford dealers. Visit your Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. And UMC. It's our hospital.
Starting tomorrow, Texas Tech baseball is on the road at Kansas State for a 3-game series Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The men's golf team heads to the Hawkeye Invitational in Iowa Sunday and Monday. Track and field and women's tennis are both in Fort Worth this weekend for a match and the TCU Invitational. Meanwhile, tomorrow, men's tennis goes back-to-back on the road, facing UT Arlington tomorrow morning at 10 before facing off against conference foe TCU at 5:30. And finally, softball hosts Texas for a Big 12 showdown Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. To take a look at all the events happening this week on campus and to check for times and ticket information, just head on over to texastech.com. You can find exclusive content for all of our Texas Tech sports there, as well as on our social media pages. Thanks for tuning in today to Double T Insider. For everybody here, I'm Taylor Peters. We'll see you same time, same place next week.